Lovely viewers, welcome back. Today's story is one that has sent shivers down spines and set comment sections on fire, not because of grand gestures or dramatic confessions, but because of something far more intimate, far more powerful, and almost impossibly soft. A whisper. Fleeting moment. A few seconds caught on camera that fans swear revealed everything words were never meant to shout. This is the story of Lee Min-ho's soft whisper to song Hye Kyo, a moment so gentle and yet so explosive that it has become one of the most replayed, paused, zoomed-in clips across fan communities worldwide. It all began innocently enough, as many unforgettable moments do. A public appearance, a professional setting, flashing cameras, polite smiles, and the practiced ease of two seasoned stars who know exactly how to hold themselves in front of the world. On the surface, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Lee Min-ho stood beside Song Hye Kyo with his usual composed charm, while she carried herself with that calm elegance fans have admired for years. But as the footage later revealed, something extraordinary slipped through the cracks of that carefully controlled public image. If you've seen the clip, you already know the moment. If you haven't, let me paint it for you slowly, because this is one of those scenes that deserves to be savored. The camera angle wasn't meant to capture intimacy. It was wide, casual, almost careless. Song Hye Kyo was adjusting her position slightly, perhaps responding to a photographer's direction, when Lee Min-ho leaned just a fraction closer. Not enough to be obvious. Not enough to draw attention. Just enough. His lips moved. No microphone picked up his words clearly. No official transcript exists. And yet, the internet erupted almost instantly with speculation, emotion, and an overwhelming sense that something deeply personal had just happened in plain sight. Song Hye Kyo's reaction was immediate but subtle. Her shoulders relaxed. Her lips curved into the softest smile, the kind that doesn't perform for cameras but happens naturally when the heart recognizes something familiar and safe. Lovely viewers, pause for a second here. Go to the comments and tell me honestly. Have you ever seen a smile like that? Not the polished red carpet smile, not the courteous celebrity grin, but the kind that feels like a secret shared between two people who don't need an audience. That smile alone became evidence for many fans that the whisper was not casual, not professional, and certainly not random. As the clip circulated, fans slowed it down frame by frame. Some focused on Lee Min-ho's eyes, noting how they softened in a way rarely seen during formal events. Others zoomed in on Song Hye Kyo's hands, noticing a brief tightening of her fingers, as if grounding herself in the moment. And then there were those who claimed they could read his lips, offering theories ranging from simple reassurance to something far more emotionally charged. He told her she looked beautiful. He said, "I'm here." He asked if she was okay. He reminded her to breathe. Each interpretation carried its own emotional weight, but what united them all was the certainty that this whisper mattered. What makes this moment even more compelling is the history both stars bring with them. Lee Min-ho, known for his commanding presence and leading man confidence, has always balanced strength with sensitivity in his roles. Song Hye Kyo, admired for her emotional depth and quiet resilience, has long been seen as someone who feels deeply, even when she says little. When two people like this share a private moment in public, fans instinctively sense that it's not accidental. And let's talk about body language, because sometimes the body tells the story long before the mouth dares to. Lee Min-ho didn't just lean in. His posture shifted protectively, almost instinctively, as if his attention had narrowed to one person alone despite the crowd. Song Hye Kyo didn't step away. She didn't stiffen. Instead, she tilted her head ever so slightly, a universal sign of trust and openness. Lovely viewers, I want you to imagine being in that moment. Cameras everywhere, expectations heavy in the air. And yet, in the middle of it all, someone leans in and offers you a whisper meant only for you. Something grounding, something tender, something that reminds you that you are not alone, even when the world is watching. That is the power of what fans believe they witnessed. Of course, official statements were non-existent. No clarifications, no denials, no playful teasing on social media. And sometimes silence speaks louder than words. The lack of explanation only fueled curiosity further. Fans began revisiting past interactions, interviews, and behind-the-scenes footage, searching for patterns, for continuity, for signs that this whisper was part of a longer, quieter story. Suddenly, moments that once seemed ordinary took on new meaning. A lingering glance during a previous event. A shared laugh that lasted a second too long. The way Lee Min-ho's attention often seemed to find Song Hye Kyo even in crowded rooms. The way she appeared unusually relaxed when standing beside him. Individually, these moments meant nothing. Together, they formed a mosaic that fans couldn't ignore. One particularly popular theory among viewers was that the whisper was a check-in, a moment of emotional support. Song Hye Kyo has often spoken in general terms about the pressure of public life and the emotional toll it can take. Lee Min-ho, having navigated similar pressures, may have recognized a moment of vulnerability and responded instinctively. If this is true, the whisper wasn't romantic in the traditional sense, but it was intimate in a way that arguably runs even deeper. But then there are those who believe it was more than that. They point to the timing, the warmth, the reaction. They argue that the energy between them felt different, charged, almost electric. Not dramatic, not flashy, but quietly intense. The kind of connection that doesn't need grand declarations because it already exists beneath the surface. Lovely viewers, let me ask you something and be honest with yourself. Which moments stay with you longer in life? The loud ones everyone sees, or the quiet ones meant only for you? For many fans, this whisper falls firmly into the second category, and that's exactly why it has captured so many hearts. As days passed, the clip refused to fade. Reaction videos popped up everywhere. Fans shared personal stories in the comments, talking about whispers that changed their lives, words spoken softly that meant everything. In a strange way, Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo's moment became a mirror, reflecting viewers' own experiences of quiet love, unspoken support, and emotional safety. Some fans noted how Song Hye Kyo seemed more radiant afterward, as if something had lifted her spirit. Others observed that Lee Min-ho appeared calmer, more at ease, as though saying those words had grounded him as well. Whether coincidence or not, the narrative took hold, and once a story like this enters the collective imagination, it becomes almost impossible to erase. And lovely viewers, as we continue from where we left off, the ripple effect of that whisper didn't simply fade into memory. Instead, it seemed to grow quieter yet deeper, like a note that keeps vibrating long after the sound itself has disappeared. Fans began noticing how conversations around Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo subtly changed. The tone softened. The curiosity became less intrusive and more protective, as if people instinctively wanted to guard whatever fragile truth might exist between them. In fan spaces, the language shifted from speculation to empathy. Comments no longer screamed for confirmation but gently wondered about emotional safety, mutual understanding, and timing. Many viewers shared how they admired the restraint both stars showed afterward, continuing their professional lives without exploiting the moment. To some, that restraint felt like proof of maturity, of two people who understand that not everything meaningful needs to be explained or labeled. What stood out most to longtime followers was how natural everything felt after that moment. There was no awkwardness, no visible tension, no exaggerated distance. If anything, there was ease. A kind of calm that often follows a sincere exchange. When they appeared separately at later events, fans claimed they could still sense the afterglow of that whisper, as if its warmth hadn't completely left the room. Lovely viewers, this is where inclusivity truly comes into play, because not everyone sees this moment through the same lens, and that's okay. Some see it as romance, others as friendship, mentorship, or simply human kindness in a high-pressure environment. And perhaps the beauty lies in the fact that it can be all of these things at once. The whisper doesn't demand a single interpretation. It welcomes many. For viewers who have experienced emotional burnout, the idea that someone noticed, leaned in, and offered quiet reassurance resonated deeply. For those who believe in love that grows slowly and privately, the moment felt like validation. For others who value respect and boundaries, the discretion that followed became the most admirable part of the story. Interestingly, psychologists and body language enthusiasts weighed in across platforms, not to sensationalize, but to explain why such moments feel so powerful. They spoke about how whispered words create a sense of exclusivity and safety, how they bypass defenses, how they are often used when someone wants to be emotionally present without overwhelming the other person. Whether fans agree with these analyses or not, they added another layer to why this brief interaction felt so significant. And let's not forget the international audience, lovely viewers. Fans from different cultures brought their own interpretations, shaped by how intimacy, respect, and emotional expression are viewed around the world. Some cultures see whispering as deeply personal, others as protective, others as affectionate without romance. This diversity of perspective turned the moment into a global conversation, one that connected people beyond fandom. As time passes, the clip may eventually stop trending, but its emotional footprint remains. It has already secured a place in fan history as one of those rare, unscripted moments that feel honest. Not loud enough to dominate headlines forever, but gentle enough to stay with you when you least expect it. And perhaps that's the quiet lesson here. In a world obsessed with declarations, confirmations, and constant visibility, Lee Min-ho's soft whisper to song Hye Kyo reminded us of the power of subtlety, of checking in, of choosing softness when the world expects performance, of saying something meaningful without needing anyone else to hear it. So as we close this continuation, lovely viewers, carry this moment with you not as gossip, but as a reminder to speak gently when it matters, to notice the people beside you, to offer comfort without spectacle, and to appreciate that sometimes the most unforgettable stories are written in whispers, not headlines. And as we keep this space warm, respectful, and open for every heart watching, the story continues not as a rumor that needs solving, but as a feeling that keeps unfolding. That whisper, once released into the world, no longer belongs to a single clip or a single second in time. It has become something living, something that quietly evolves each time someone revisits it, reinterprets it, or feels seen through it. What many lovely viewers began to notice afterward was not just what happened between Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo, but what happened within themselves. The comment sections transformed into spaces of shared vulnerability. People spoke about moments when someone leaned in for them during chaos, when a soft voice grounded them, when a single sentence whispered at the right time changed the direction of their day, their courage, or even their life. In this way, the continuation of this story stopped being about celebrities alone and became about human connection in its purest form. As weeks turned into months, fans observed how both Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo carried themselves with the same grace they always had, yet something felt subtly different. Not louder, not more obvious, just steadier. There was a sense of emotional alignment, as if both had been gently reminded of something important, something internal. Whether that reminder came from each other or from the moment itself is something only they know, but viewers felt the shift nonetheless. Lovely viewers, inclusivity means acknowledging that not everyone approaches this story from the same emotional place. Some viewers are romantics, longing for love stories that feel safe and mature. Some are realists, grounded in the belief that kindness does not always equal romance. Some are healing, searching for examples of tenderness that do not demand explanation or commitment. This continuation welcomes all of you, because the whisper does not exclude any interpretation. It simply exists. One of the most powerful aspects of this moment is how it challenges the idea that meaning must be public to be real. In an era where everything is documented, shared, and dissected, the whisper stands as a quiet rebellion. It reminds us that some truths lose their power when shouted, and some connections are strongest when protected. That idea resonated deeply with viewers who feel overwhelmed by constant visibility and emotional noise. There were fans who said they replayed the clip not to analyze it, but to calm themselves. The softness of the interaction, the absence of urgency, the lack of performance, it all created a strangely soothing effect. In a world that often feels sharp and demanding, this moment felt rounded, gentle, almost kind. That alone explains why it continues to linger in collective memory. As the story carried on, Some viewers began reflecting on Lee Min-ho's presence in that moment. Not as a superstar, not as an icon, but as a man choosing attentiveness. There was no attempt to dominate the frame, no need to be seen as the center. Instead, there was an act of emotional awareness, the kind that often goes unnoticed but is deeply felt by the person receiving it. For many, this redefined strength, showing that composure and care can coexist beautifully. Song Hye Kyo's response, too, became a point of reflection. Her softness was not weakness. It was receptivity. It was the quiet confidence of someone who allows support without fear of judgment. For viewers who struggle with accepting help, who feel pressure to always appear composed, her reaction became a gentle lesson in letting someone be there for you, even briefly. Lovely viewers, this continuation is also about timing. Whispers do not happen randomly. They happen when the moment calls for restraint, when louder expressions would disrupt rather than comfort. The timing of that whisper, right in the middle of public attention, suggests a deep awareness of boundaries. It wasn't an escape from reality. It was a grounding within it. Over time, fan art emerged, poems were written, and short reflections flooded social platforms. Not all of them mentioned romance. Many focused on emotional intelligence, mutual respect, and the beauty of shared silence. This diversity of expression showed just how inclusive the moment had become. It belonged to everyone who found something meaningful in it, regardless of their interpretation. Some viewers even said the whisper changed how they viewed their own interactions. They became more mindful of checking in on people quietly, of offering reassurance without spectacle. In this way, the story extended beyond screens and into real lives. That is perhaps the most powerful continuation of all, when a moment inspires gentler behavior in the world. As time moved forward, newer stories, newer headlines, and newer clips naturally competed for attention. Yet this one refused to disappear completely. It resurfaced in montages, in Remember When posts, in late-night scrolls where viewers stumbled upon it again and felt that familiar pause in their chest. That pause is important. It means the moment still has something to say. And maybe what it says is simple. That connection does not always announce itself. That care does not need witnesses. That sometimes, the most honest thing you can offer another person is your presence, your attention, and a few words meant only for them. That is a message that transcends fandom, culture, age, and experience. Lovely viewers, inclusivity also means honoring uncertainty. We do not need to force this story into a conclusion. We do not need labels to validate what was felt. The whisper can remain exactly what it was, a private exchange that briefly brushed against the public eye. Its power lies in its openness, in its refusal to be confined to a single narrative. As we continue to reflect together, let this story remind you that softness is not something to rush past. It deserves space. It deserves respect. And it deserves to be remembered not for what it proves, but for what it evokes. Whether you saw romance, friendship, support, or simple kindness, your experience is valid. And so, as this continuation gently settles, take a moment for yourself. Think of the whispers in your own life, the ones that steadied you, the ones you offered, the ones you wish you had spoken. Carry this story not as speculation but as inspiration. A reminder that even in the loudest environments, tenderness can still find a way through. We'll keep this space open, lovely viewers, for every interpretation, every emotion, and every quiet realization this moment continues to spark. Because some stories don't end. They simply echo, softly, in the hearts of those who were ready to hear them.